guys, welcome to Yankees World. This is going to be a genealogy video. I promised you my famous ancestors. Well, they're more like, in some cases, they're more like infamous. First one I'm going to start out with is Sir Walter Raleigh, who was my 12th great-grandfather. Now, you might recognize the name, and that's because Sir Walter Raleigh was beheaded at Old Palace Yard at the Palace of Westminster on the 29th of October, 1618. His last words were, "Let us dispatch. At this hour my ague comes upon me. I would not have my enemies think I quaked from fear." After he was actually allowed to see the axe, and he said, "This is a sharp medicine, but it is a physician for all diseases and miseries." Some say as he lay with his head down for the axe, like it would be down like that, he said, "Strike, man, strike." Okay, he actually popularized smoking in England, tobacco smoking, and they found a tobacco box in his cell after his execution, and it was inscribed in Latin, "Comes mus fuit illo miserrimo tempo." It was my companion at the most miserable time. His body was to be buried at the home of Lady Raleigh. His head was embalmed and given to his wife. How horrible is that? Oh well, Lady Raleigh is his wife. She kept his head in a velvet bag for the rest of her life. He was beheaded on orders of King Henry VIII. Yikes! What did you do to piss off that guy? I'm not 100% sure why he was beheaded. I just know he was, and it was ordered by King Henry VIII. See if we can find out why. That would be interesting. Why was Sir Walter Raleigh, I know I spelled it wrong, B-A-D-D, beheaded? Let's find out. He was charged with treason. Oh, his was King James I. I'm sorry. I have another relative that was ordered to be beheaded by Henry VIII. His was King James I. So, how did he commit treason? Oh, okay. It says he was involved in a plot to get rid of King James I, Elizabeth I's successor. Don't know because it's been 300 years, but that's what they charged him with, and that's what they convicted him of. Lord knows. on what evidence at that time that they convicted him. So, because, again, it was 300 years ago. And again, there'll be pictures next to me of all these people. The next one is my 11th great-grandmother, Mary Barrett Dyer. Mary, I'm sorry. Sorry. Little tea, maybe that'll help. Was, she had been a Puritan and she became a Quaker. Well, they didn't like that. So they, asked her to leave Boston. She kept coming back. First time she got a reprieve. Second time, they hanged her. She's known as one of the 4 Boston martyrs. In fact, there is a statue of her, see here, on Boston Common. There's actually a copy of that statue in a couple other places. One of the things that they believed was that she had given birth to a demon because she had a stillborn child that had some deformities, which was delivered by my 12th great-grandmother, Ann Hutchinson. Ann Marbury Hutchinson. We'll get to her. She's another historical figure. This is what they claimed about the child. Keep in mind, probably not accurate. It was of ordinary bigness. It had a face, but no head. And the ears stood upon the shoulders and were like an ape's. It had no forehead, but over the eyes 4 horns, hard and sharp. 2 of them were above 1 inch long, the other 2 shorter. The eyes standing out and the mouth also. The nose hooked upward all over the breast and navel, and the belly was the distinction with the distinction of the sex were where the back should be and the back and hips before where the belly should have been. Behind between the shoulders it had 2 mouths, and in each of them a piece of red flesh sticking out. It had arms and legs as other children, but instead of toes, it had on each foot 3 claws like young fowl with sharp talons. Yikes. And some idiot sent this description all around. Now, first of all, if I had to guess by today's standards, first of all, I think they embellished a lot of things in this. Well, clearly they did. But by today, if you take this and you just read certain parts of it make sense. Because I think that this child had a condition called anencephaly, which is why they describe it as having a face but no head. Because an anencephalic baby sometimes will have no head, like from here up, because they have no brain. They do not have horns, however, and all kinds of mismatched limbs. You know, there may have been deformities to some of the limbs as well. But yeah, that was terrible. And it was sent out all over the place, published in England in 1642 and 1644. The deformed birth was considered evidence of the heresies and errors of antinomianism. In 1638, Mary and her husband were banished from the colony, along with Ann Hutchinson. On the advice of Roger Williams, the group that included Ann and the Dyers moved to Portsmouth in a colony of Rhode Island. William Dyer signed the Portsmouth Compact along with 18 other men. There are actually copies of it, but I didn't take one to show you for whatever reason. She joined the Quakers on a trip back to England after hearing some preaching, because it aligned with the ideas that she and Hutchinson held years earlier. And she became a Quaker preacher in her own right. Mary did. They returned to Rhode Island. And Mary went to Boston to protest. Well, he came back in 1652. She didn't come back till 1657 from England. And she went to Boston to protest and was arrested and expelled again. Her husband, who had not become a Quaker, was not arrested. And she continued to travel in New England to preach Quakerism and was arrested in 1658 in Connecticut. After her release, she returned to Massachusetts to visit other Quakers, William Robinson, and get this, Marmaduke Stevenson, who had been arrested. She was also arrested and then permanently banished from the colony. She traveled to Massachusetts a third time with a group of Quakers to publicly defy the law and was again arrested and sentenced to death. After a very short trial, 2 other Quakers were hanged, but because her husband was a friend of the governor, he secured a last-minute reprieve against her wishes, for she had refused to repent and disavow her Quaker faith. And once again, she was sent back to Rhode Island. My mother always said that this woman was definitely related because the stubbornness runs strong in the family. She was forced to return to Rhode Island, from where she traveled to Long Island, New York, to preach. However, her conscience led her to return to Boston in 1660 to defy the anti-Quaker law. Despite the pleas of her husband and family, she again refused to repent, and she was again convicted and sentenced to death. On May 31st, the next day, June 1st, Mary was hanged on Boston Common for the crime of being a Quaker in Massachusetts. She died a martyr. Her last words were, "Nay, I came to keep blood guiltiness from you, desiring you to repel the unrighteous and unjust law made against the innocent servants of the Lord. Nay, man, I am not now to repent." After her death, a member of the General Court uttered one of those bitter scoffs which prove the truest of all epitaphs. She did hang as a flag for others to take example by. Yikes! And of course, her statue is on Boston Common. It was sculpted by Sylvia Shaw Johnson. Okay, Anne Hutchinson. She was a Marbury originally. Also came from England. She was also married to a Dyer, which I believe she was Mary's sister-in-law, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I think so. And she claimed she was a prophetess, which would be a female prophet, receiving revelations from God, and she actually prophesied during her trial that God would send judgment upon the Massachusetts Bay Colony and would wipe it from existence. Think she was wrong. I still live here 200 years later. She taught her followers that personal revelation from God was as authoritative in a person's life as the Bible, a teaching that was antithetical, in other words, against their theology, to Puritan theology. She also claimed that she could identify the elect among the colonists. These positions ultimately caused John Cotton, John Winthrop, and other former friends to view her as an antinomian heretic. I don't know what that word means, but they said that about Mary as well. That she was anti-Neptune. John Cotton, by the way, had come here with her. He had brought her and her husband Samuel Dyer here. She is famous, but not so much for what she did or said during the antinomian controversy, but for what John Winthrop made of her in his journal and his account of the controversy, called The Short Story. He blamed her for everything that went wrong in the colony unfairly, and she left the colony, and then okay, when she left, he said, she's a prophet, a spiritual advisor, mother of 15, an important participant in a fierce religious controversy that shook the Massachusetts Bay Colony from 1636 to 1638. Upheld as a symbol of religious freedom, liberal thinking, and Christian feminism, Anne Hutchinson is a contentious figure, having been lionized, mythologized, and demonized by various writers. In particular, historians and other observers have interpreted and reinterpreted her life within the following frameworks: the status of women, power struggles within the church, and a similar struggle within the secular political structure. As to her overall historical impact, Winthrop writes, Hutchinson's well-publicized trials and the attendant accusations against her made her the most famous or infamous English woman in colonial American history. Wow. And I wanted to just share with you some of her descendants, because they're also my relatives. President Roosevelt, Presidents Bush, both of them, obviously. Stephen A. Douglas, who was a presidential candidate, George Romney, and Mitt Romney. Oh, Lord, I'm related to Mitt Romney. Anyway, her grandson was governor of Rhode Island. Other descendants include Chief Justice of the United States Supreme Court Melville Weston Fuller and Associate Justice Oliver Wendell Holmes, Jr., Lord Chancellor of England John Singleton Copley, Jr., who was the first Lord Lyndhurst, President of Harvard University Charles William Eliot, actor Ted Danson, musician Caitlin Donovan, opera singer and socialite Madame Lily Fay Moulton de Hergman Lindercrome. One descendant bearing the Hutchinson name was her great-great-grandson Thomas Hutchinson, who was the loyalist governor of the province of Massachusetts Bay at the time of the Boston Tea Party, an event leading to the Revolution. I thought you'd be interested in some of those people, and we actually did find lines going back to Presidents Bush, and we also found a line going back to Calvin Coolidge, which I didn't include him in this. Well, he wasn't infamous anyway, because I couldn't find him in my tree, and I know he's there. So I need to go back and retrace, find out where he goes in my tree with all the other Coolidges, because I know he does, with 100% certainty. So those are my famous and infamous ancestors, and the descendants thereof that I am also related to. So I will get this up soon. Oh, excuse me. Thank you for joining me on this genealogical journey. I am almost done writing October's cases. I'm on number 6 of 8, so that's good. A little update on the leg. It is mama sore today, which I expected. I took a bath this morning. There was no way I was standing up in the shower. Excuse me. And holy mother of Moses, did it hurt when I put this knee in water. It does appear, though, that that chunk that was cut off, that I was told to fold back over it, has sealed to some degree. I did have a bloody mess in my bed last night. So I was trying to get back on my bed, and I put my knee down, and it squeezed it under the Band-Aid, and it just oozed out the bottom of the Band-Aid all over my sheets. Thank you to Dawn for the suggestion to pat it down with hydrogen peroxide, because it literally ate the blood off the sheets. Brand new sheets. I've only had them on my bed twice. Planned on changing them this week, but yeah, can't walk down the hill. And I thank the good Lord and my mother for this. Let me show you. Okay. That. The walker. Thank you. It means I don't have to put as much pressure. I can put less weight on my foot. Less weight on my foot, which is a good thing. It is wrapped. I rebandaged it and wrapped it again with the ace bandage. That way it doesn't bend too far one way or the other. And it's funny, I watched the video and I still can't figure out how I fell. It was like I was walking 1 minute and then the camera was going the next minute and everything was in pink, and I don't know why. I don't know what button I pressed as I was going down. I just knew I needed to protect the camera. So, and the other thing about my leg is my hip is furious at me. It's just absolutely swearing at me. I've taken my Tylenol. I've been keeping it elevated in a chair while I've been sitting here in the kitchen. And I like filming here in the kitchen, by the way, because of the light. I really like the light in here. I have not decided yet. Oh, I was just telling you steps. Yeah, I will be getting my steps for the next few days. Trying to figure out what's next. I do know, like I said, that I am close to actually finishing the writing of October Oddities. I am right in the middle of one. And, well, right in the middle of number 6. And when I'm done with number 6, which, by the way, they're not in any particular order. I'm just writing them in the order that they're written on the piece of paper. But I haven't put them in the order that they'll actually air in. This particular case that I'm writing is out of New Zealand. It's my very first case out of New Zealand, and I'm pretty excited. I've also messaged a family in one of the other cases on Facebook, on their Facebook page for her, to potentially, obviously not in New Zealand, they're in the United States, different case, like I said, to come on my podcast. So prayers, fingers and toes crossed, that they will do it. So I will keep you updated on that here and on Kid Missing. Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do for the rest of the day once I'm done with this, but I've still got a little ways to go. Like I said, I'm in number 6 out of 8, and I need to complete the updates as well. Like I said, I did find an update, fell into it by accident. That one of our unidentified August cases has been identified. I think I'm going to make another video today because I kind of want to show you this walker a little bit. Anyway, I am not doing anything. I have dishes to put away. I don't really have dishes to do. Thank the good Lord, I have dishes to put away. I am going to make supper that is not going to require any dishes. So that'll be good. Thank God for paper plates. Thank God for a lot of things. I don't know what that sound was. But I'm going to charge some batteries, and I will be back with another video to show you this walker. I also have a mess I want to clean up in my room, and I can't do that either. It sucks to be gimpy. So, but I will come back with another video. Like I said, I will show you this walker. I will show you what I bought for this walker for my mother before she died, just like the Kissing Cow and Bull salt and pepper shakers. I bought something for her walker, and it's working to my advantage. But I'm so, so grateful to have it. And I'm grateful to have this wheelchair because it's so much more comfortable than a regular chair to sit in all this time to do this work. So I'm actually really enjoying the work. I do enjoy the work. Okay. From this point, what I do is I write it today. Tomorrow I'll sit and make the posters, make the videos. Then all I have to do about a week before is edit. So that'll be easy. I am going to go charge a couple of batteries. I'll see you in a little while for another video. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a great rest of your day. God bless you. Thank you for popping into Punky's World, where you are always welcome. Please smash that like button. Please subscribe and hit that bell for all notifications so you are notified each and every time I upload a video. And head on over to Kid Missing and do the same thing. Kid Missing TV. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.